Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome back to Super Eagle One's channel. Today we'll be doing a little combination of things. This will be a nice soft-spoken video, and I will be cleaning my sword, which you can see in front of you here. It is a saber from the Napoleonic era. It is a replica, of course, and it needs maintenance regularly. So we shall be doing just that today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And maybe you might learn one or two things about swords and the Napoleonic era of swords. But don't expect much, because this is just a simple cleaning video. Before we begin, as always, take a deep breath and hold it for 3. Breathe in, 1, 2, and 3. Breathe out, 1, 2, and 3. Release all that air. And breathe in again, 1, 2, and 3. And out again, 1, 2, and 3. One more time. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3. And out, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's begin. First, let's put on some gloves, because we don't want to create stains onto the blade, and my grubby fingers are full of bacteria, moist liquid, sweat, and whatever else I've been touching today, even though I have cleaned them before this. Also important to note that rust comes from moisture, and 80% of the human body, I believe, is water, and that includes my hands. So whenever you sweat, that's your body letting off some of that 80%. So we want to avoid any of that, because watermarks on here are what will increase oxidization, rusting, and deterioration of the blade. So I'm going to put my glove on like so, straighten out all my fingers. Perfect, like so. Ooh, that one a nice little bit of a straighten. And glove number 2. And they do fit on quite snugly, I will say that. This one went on a little bit smoother, and now we can see my hands are ready. So, without further ado, let's give you a little look at the saber in its sheath. Here is the handle, got a lovely, looks like a lion's head because of the mane here. His teeth, quite like a gargoyle style of head. His whiskers, nice growl grasping the guard of the sword. And then we got a nice handle here with grooves in it to make it comfortable and easy to hold. And of course, let me rotate the sword around. We have the guard itself, and you may or may not be able to make out, but that is a G and that is an R for King George III of England, and of course Royal Crown of the United Kingdom. But this is an English sword. This is called a saber sword. Sabers are notable for having a slight curve in their shape, which allows for speed and manoeuvrability, usually a flicking action with the wrist, like so. We've got these two little rings here, 1 and 2, I'll put them up here, 1 and 2, and therefore attaching to my sword belt, so that I may wear the sword on my belt. Okay, now let's release the sword so we may begin to clean. We'll come back to that later. Here is the blade. As you can see, there is a distinctive curve to the blade, and that is very neat and effective when it comes to fighting. The saber is a slashing weapon, but it can be used for stabbing, but not in the way you think. Stabbing with this blade will do minimal damage due to its shape, and your grip will not be comfortable. However, when you come to withdraw this blade, that's when it will cause the maximum damage. For example, imagine a curve in your body. It goes in, that's fine, but when it comes out, because it's a curve, it's going to rip all insides out of you. So quite a deadly weapon when it comes to withdrawing the sword. So yeah, and you can see this blade itself from the pommel and handle all the way down to the point. There it is. Very nice. Now many people wonder, why is this part of the sword different from this part? Because this part's not sharp, and it's not really a combatant section. This part is designed like this so as to prevent the blade from being dislodged in your scabbard. See, if the blade itself made contact with the scabbard, it could become blunt, damaged, or possibly have some oxidization from any liquid or moisture that reaches it through the scabbard. This little block here is slightly wider than the blade itself and suspends it in the scabbard so that it will not rub against it. I'm going to pop that down now, and we're going to begin cleaning. As you can see, the blade is not sharp. I don't have any enemies here. So it should be very nice for me to hold. But if you do have a sharp sword, you probably would want to do things differently from how I will be. So, what have I got to use? I've got some very handy roll. I've got one scrubber, both sides of which I'll be using. And I've got a fantastic lubricating oil that does a little polish as well, specifically for getting off rust. And naturally you can see I've got a towel below and here as well, should I need it. Gloves are important for the reasons I have mentioned. Okay, well then, let us begin. I shall start by giving the blade itself an oil on this side. I always love the sound that these make. Let's have a listen to that again. Oh, that's gorgeous, that is. Okay, I'm just going to go all the way along. That's giving it a coat of oil. Now, with my soft side, I'm going to rub that oil in. and give it a nice oil bath, like so. Very good. And that's given it a nice good clean already. Metal loves oil. Good combination. Make sure you've got the right oils, of course. Fantastic stuff. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have a closer look along the blade and see if we can identify any marks on it or rust. Hopefully, there shouldn't be any, because this is a regular thing I do. So, let's have a look down there. Possibly a little spot there, we can give that a little rub over. Down, down, down. All the way to a point. I think we're pretty good today, but we'll give it a once over just for show. So what I'll do is I'll take my stronger side, my grislier side, which is perfect for rubbing off some marks, stains, or in particular rust. Oxidization is not our friend today. So let's start down here at the hilt and gently, very gently, give it a little scrub down. I'm not applying too much pressure. I'm not trying to scrape off anything really. I'm just giving it a once over because the oil will do the work for us. The idea is to do this regularly. I do it about once a month at the minimum. If I use the sword more, then I obviously do it after usage. And that allows me, or if I'm going to be showing it off before usage, so it's looking peak condition. And yeah, we want to let it do the work for us. Gently stroking that blade all the way down to that. Fantastic stuff. And now we're going to do a little bit on the pommel here. What I can do is I can give it a little oil around it, but the reality is this is brass and I will need a brass cleaner to make this shiny and buffed up. Unfortunately, as of filming this video, I am embarrassingly out of brass cleaner, so I shall just give it a little oil, which is better than nothing. There we go. And this bit here will need fabric cleaner, which I do have, but I'll probably do that after. Okay. Once more, taking our scrubber, rubbing that oil in to the blade. Very neat. Hopefully preventing some rust as well. So you've used cleaners and oiling not just removes rust, but it will prevent rust. But of course, it's got to be a regular thing because, as we all know, metal and water is a terrible combination that will never live well together. And there's no point in me using the harsher, scrubbier side because there's nothing visible. And really, we need brass cleaner to buff this up, not oil. So, we'll only be doing half the job with the oil. And now, we can rotate the blade, ready for the next half. On the scabbard here too, this here is brass as well. We'll give it a very little oil as well before we finish. But it's important to note that brass cleaner is needed. Okay. Once more, let's give it a spray. Very neat. Let's pop that to the side. And let's rub in some of that lovely oil. Very nice. So this is an infantry saber. You can tell that because it has only a very slight curve. A cavalry saber usually goes out and bends a little more for the hussars of the era. And it's a flicking instrument, so you flick it and that's how you get the point to do damage. Obviously, with most swordsmen will tell you that the point is better than the edge being this here. This is the edge. The edge can only do so much, and you do use the edge a lot with the saber. But the point is still where the damage is at, and that tail flick of your sword, the saber, when you pulling it down or up in the slashing strokes, that's where the damage is dealt. So yeah. Okay, I think we've done the pommel, looking nice and clean, nice and oiled up. Let us now begin to spray down the blade itself. Fantastic stuff. Pop that just out of camera view so it doesn't get in the way. Ready to rub it all in. Starting at the hilt once more and just gently massaging that in. That's it. Up and down. There's a few more marks on this one, so I feel that we'll be able to get something done maybe in this little maintenance. Okay, let's pull the blade up for inspection. Looking good. Maybe give that a little scrub in the middle. There, see if that's a little scrub maybe. But overall, I am happy with the condition of the sword. So let's proceed. very gentle. Let it do the work for me. That's it. One finger, putting pressure, the rest just guiding it across. Like so. Going quite well, I think. All the way to the point. Perfection. Okay. We've completed the sword now. Now we're going to do the scabbard. The scabbard starts from here, all the way down, and just doing these metal parts. Fabric cleaner for the leather. Okay. A little oil up here, a little here, and down the deep end. Let's rub it in. And that playful sound, happy to see some oil. And the middle bit. Yes, rub that oil in. Very nice. And finally, down the deep end. Very nice. Okay. And no obvious rust, but I can see on there. So we're just going to flip it over. And you know what comes next. A little spray up here. And here. And down the deep end. Let's go. Yes, you like your oil, don't you? She's a good sword. A lot of people think that swords are really heavy. I don't agree. Not with this one, at least. It's designed to be flicked around for fast speed maneuvers. And the only way to do that is if it's quite light. And it's certainly lighter than the bayonet that the infantrymen would be carrying with them. Made of hard wood and a long metal barrel. Not to mention the deadly long bayonet on the end. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. That is a successful clean of the scabbard now. But a little touch that I like to do is just to turn that in. Yes, get a little in there. Rub that top. Just so when we replace the blade in there, it reacts with some of that oil. Keep it nice and preserved. And hopefully that will travel all the way down. Time to pop our saber back into its hole. And now you can better see how that suspends the blade, like so. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting and subscribing for more content. And until next time, thank you for joining.